Hey everybody, it's Quandrix, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Secrets of Strixhaven. We're going to start this one off with an absolute banger. We've got one of the strongest rares in the set, Practiced Offense. This is 2 and a white for a sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on all of your creatures, and give one of your creatures double strike or lifelink till end of turn, and then you flash it back and do it again. So it's going to be 2 +1/+1 counters on your entire board, plus a big double strike swing twice. This card is completely absurd. I have lost to it several times, and I'm ready to finally cast it myself. We'll grab this, see if we can't play a nice aggressive Silver Quill or Lorehold strategy. Well, this must have been a double rare pack because we've gotten past another completely absurd rare. Slumbering Trudge is ridiculous. It is a 4-mana 6/6 at worst. You can also just run it out turn 1 to suspend it, basically, leave it stunned and ready to untap later. So this just fits into your curve wherever you need it to be, and then you're going to have a gigantic win condition at the same time. It is quite awkward to take a green card right after taking a white card because there's no green-white archetype in the set. There is red-white and white-black, or there's green, black, and green, blue, but this is still such a ridiculously powerful rare. We'll just start with 2 absurd rares and see what we get past more of from there. That's a pick 3 applied geometry, so I guess we're getting past more Silver Quill. This is a 4-mana sorcery to create a 6/6 copy of any non-aura permanent you control. Even if you have nothing on your board, this can copy an island or a forest. I mean, technically, if you don't have any lands on the board either, you can't copy anything, but obviously if you don't have lands, you can't cast in the first place. But you don't need a creature on the board even for this card to be pretty absurd, and if you do have a creature with a good ability, you just pop off. So I guess we're a little deeper towards Quandrix than towards a white deck. Sorry, Practiced Offense, but this is just another completely busted rare, just 3 for 3 here. Staying completely open, there's a Strixhaven Sky Coach, which has been actually really impressive. It makes sure that you keep hitting your land drops, because it picks up a land when it enters the battlefield, and it's a relevant body. Not that hard to crew, it's a good flying creature, so Sky Coach is like the most open card, but I'm just going to keep taking absurd rares. Okay. I don't know where I am anymore. Pick 5, couple really nice options. The Noxious Newt to ramp us up is pretty good. This could give us a turn 3 applied geometry or a turn 3 6/6 trudge. Actually, I'm very high on the 2-mana dorks when we have 3 different 4-mana rares. Being able to play those a turn early off the Newt is going to be really, really sweet. So I'm going to take that over Tester of the Tangential, which is the other best option. And then a close second behind these is like Page and Banishing Betrayal. Obviously, Newt is just better than Page here if we're going to be in green. And then Banishing Betrayal just a little narrow to make the other cards just stronger for their costs. Pick 6, Berserk is really cool, but it's just like a one-time buff. And then you have to sack the creature. I mean, using it on a 6/6, that could be lethal. Is it worth trying Berserk here? Probably not. It's such a narrow, such a risky combat trick. I'll go for the Emil here. If we get a bunch of +1/+1 counter stuff, this will be given trample to the board. And later in the game, we can spit out some tokens with it. Pick number 7, Chelonian Tackle is like the worst green removal spell. It's worse than the common removal spells in the color. So that's a little awkward. I think I'd rather take Run Behind. The blue bounce it back into the library spell for this set. Could also speculate on Spectacle Summit. If we end up splashing into red, that'll obviously be helpful. Good dual land or a second copy of Run Behind. We're seeing the second copy early enough. I think I'll hopefully be able to find enough other interaction that will take the on-color dual land we'll probably see less often. There's the Barrage Barrage, which is better than that green uncommon, so we could play that. We could also play the Disdainful Stroke to counter our opponent's late-game plays. These are both solid pieces of interaction that hit pretty different things, but they're good at what they're doing. I like how the Barrage works with our Noxious Newt, too. So if we get some more copies of that, we'll be really happy. And we get some chunky creatures out early. I think this is a pretty good Barrage deck. Your Fractal Mascot to top us off. That Sky Coach is actually super late. I think this is honestly good enough to play in a 2-color deck. Have been impressed. Essence Scatter is certainly good enough. That is excellent as a cheap counter spell. Most decks are pretty creature heavy, because even the decks that want to cast a lot of instants and sorceries get to play some of the creatures that have instants and sorceries attached. This pick is a pretty easy Berta. I've never actually done anything with Berta because she always dies to removal immediately, but theoretically if she sticks around, she does some insane stuff. So we'll try to get this Berta to survive long enough to do something this draft. Might as well grab our like 5th rare, you know? We've got some pretty solid options, Muse Seeker and Barrage here, but I'm quite tempted to just take the rare land, just get some more great fixing. I do need more 2-mana creatures pretty badly. I should probably take Muse Seeker. But I'm just going to make sure I've got excellent mana here. Take every opportunity I can to get a green-blue duel. I feel like, I was going to say Simic, I feel like Quandrix is open enough in this pod based on getting past multiple Quandrix rares and decent Quandrix cards late that I should be able to get my reasonable spells later. But there could be somebody drafting like the 5-color Converge deck. Wow, speaking of Quandrix being open, there's a Dreamroot Cascade again, and a Wildgrowth Archaic. Even the Studious First Year is fine. Better when you're playing even more colors, but still okay in 2-color. Wildgrowth Archaic's got to be pretty absurd in Quandrix, right? Whenever you're casting a creature spell, it enters with additional +1/+1 counters, or X number of colors spent on it. So like all of our creatures come with 2 +1/+1 counters. Jesus. Yeah, just a 2-mana 2/1 curve that makes our other creatures ridiculous. Seems fantastic. That I will take over the really good dual land. Here's a Quandrix Charm. Beautiful, very flexible interaction. Happy with that. Glimpse of Nature is a really cool card, but it's a little bit hard to get this to pop off into more than like 2 cards in draft. And even 2 cards, you're working for that a lot. Oh my. Oh my. It's going to be just a 10 rare deck. What's happening? The 11th rare in the sideboard, Practiced Offense. We could even have a Snarl Song strategy here. This is a wonderful draft pod. I want all of my draft pods to be like this one. Pick number 6, Shopkeeper's Bane. Not the greatest stat line up front, but with 2 copies of Wildgrowth Archaic in our deck, if we cast this the turn after we play a Wildgrowth Archaic, that's a 3-mana 6/4 trample. So it's a good curve with the other cards that we've got. Embrace the Paradox is a fine late draw spell. Actually, I like Flow State a lot. It's like perfectly reasonable card draw up front, and if you do end up with an instant source in your grave, it's very good. We are on 4 instants, 2 sorceries. This would be the 3rd sorcery, although it doesn't count itself, obviously. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Flow State here. We'll see if we can't get that popping off for just 2 mana, draw 2. These packs are wild. There's still the Mana War creature, the Matter Bending Mage to bounce something and be an excellent tempo play, and the Elite Interceptor. Pick 8. These are both really, really excellent cards. And then as far as being a good sign for Quandrix, we got a Mage and a Duel here. Take that excellent tempo Mage. Here's an Orisa. Nothing here. We'll take Page Loose Leaf, because I think we're looking like a very nice, dedicated 2-color deck. We wield a Dreamroot Cascade. That'll happily play. Rare draft a Glimpse of Nature. And see what we open up in the final pack. Couldn't be the perfect draft. We didn't open up another Quandrix rare. That's okay. We can play a Terrafractal at the top of our curve. We don't have too much when it comes to finishers right now, and we could certainly cut something like a Fractal Mascot to put more better top-end cards in, such as a big giant flyer like a Terrafractal. So I'll play that over grabbing a 4th green-blue duel. I think we're pretty solid on mana now. Unless we see another one of the rare duels that enters untapped later in the game. If I get more untapped duels, I'd be into that, but I don't want to run too many tap lands. Mind into Matter. You know, this isn't the craziest rare in the universe, but I can't resist running as many rares as possible. This is probably on par with like Run Behind in terms of win rate, power level in general. It's pretty slow if you're under a lot of pressure. It is not going to be great. Even if it does put one of your cards onto the battlefield, it's putting it out tapped, so you don't really get a blocker out of it the turn you play it. So you need to be in a good spot where you have time to just tap out and not affect the board at all. So that can be a little narrow, but when you're in that position, that is going to be an absurd amount of card draw that can win you the game. So I'm going to take it anyway. But it does have potential flaws. 2 excellent cards here, the Essence Scatter for cheap interaction and the Campus Composer for 2 threats off of 1 spell. I'm still quite low on non-creature cards, so let's grab another Essence Scatter here. Oh, I forgot about the Quandrix charm. Okay, I'm not that low, but I still think I like the Scatter better there regardless. Now we can go ahead and take one of these Tester of the Tangentials. I don't think I have enough like high mana value instant sorceries to be that interested in Hydro Channeler. Not a super exciting pack. Quick Study plays well with our Essence Scatters. You can hold one up. Once we have 3 mana, we hold one up, and if we don't cast it, we still cast a draw spell. Muse Seeker's fine for setting up your draws, but we don't have any 5 mana or higher spells. I mean, I've got 1 Mind into Matter. Never getting the big opus there. I'll try out a Quick Study, maybe. Oh, I completely forgot about Flow State. I should have counted instants and sorceries. Maybe worked for Flow State there. Yeah, we need another sorcery. We could have taken Sleight of Hand to make Flow State more consistent. Take another Sky Coach, and we'll see if this is good enough for just a 2-color deck. And this deck does really like hitting its land drops, so I don't think it's going to mind. Divergent Equation could pick up our Applied Geometries. That's got to be absurd, right? Don't think I need a Terramorphic in here. Sure, I'll rare draft. Play another Paradox Gardens. Another Run Behind over a second Quick Study. Although whatever I take there is likely to get cut. We have 4 lands, so we have 27 non-lands. Yeah, we'll be cutting a chunk of stuff. Probably Fractal Mascot. And then some nothing in the end of the draft. I think our curve's low enough to not need Page as another ramp card. I should probably cut a non-creature too. Our double Wild Growth Archaic really do want that creature count high. And it is not very high at 11 here, so I don't think I should cut any more creatures. Even though some of our non-creatures count as creatures, they don't work with the Archaic at all. So we have 8 instants of 4 sorceries, so if I want to really work on Flow State, I'd be cutting some instants. Maybe a Quick Study. Oh, one of the Run Behinds. Yeah, it's 2 cuts at this point. Sure. That curve a little lower. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy to just run out Trudge turn 1, so this is kind of the mana curve. Yeah, looked sick to me. I am very excited to see how this does. I doubt we'll get a much better Quandrix deck, so fingers crossed this one can go a far distance. We'll see how this all plays out as we hop into the gameplay. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 1. Just see if our Archaic can stick around long enough to get one other creature a counter. All right, this is much more expensive than 2 mana. It's actually 3 mana if I want to converge it for 2. I was wrong. We'll play Tester and then Archaic. So you can do it for 3 mana. I can cast this for double green. Yeah, I was going to say, wait a second. Is it a 1-1 with a +1/+1 counter? No, it starts as a 0/0. I can cast it for double green as a 1-1. Probably better as a 3 mana 2/2 generally. Oh, if we have enough mana, being able to move the counters from the Tester to the Archaic would be insane. Sadly, they have the very efficient 1 mana deal 3 removal to clear that out. Our deck is not ideal at incrementing up our Tester of the Tangential, is it? So we have so many 2 mana cards, but I guess that's what the ability to move the counters around is for. I don't want to do that at the detriment of like not holding up a counter spell. But I think that will be nice in the future. Ooh, Berta. Can play Berta, still have a Quandrix Charm up to protect her. Sure. Very good draw. Oops. Transcendent Archaic. You will counter that. Increment up the Berta, which means we get a mana, but we don't need that mana for anything. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 mana. Sure. Just plop it. I was thinking if I wanted to do tricksy things with Tester of the Tangential, but it's like, yeah, I could spend 1 to move 1 and then get the 1 mana back, but I'm going to keep tapping Berta anyways, so I don't really need more +1/+1 counters on Berta. Our opponent doesn't have a way to remove the Berta, so they just concede anyway, and that'll be 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, kept a moderately risky hand, immediately drew the Forest, get rewarded. We are on the draw against another Quandrix deck. Start with our Newt. Essence Scatter, my poor little salamander. So rude. Quandrix Charm it is. Green, blue, and red. There's the stock up. Excellent card draw, finding the best cards out of the top 5. Some of the Mystical Archives cards have felt more common than the actual commons and uncommons. Like stock up, it feels like you see it absolutely everywhere. Abstract Paint Mage. At the beginning of their first main phase, they get mana just for instants and sorceries. Well, we'll see if they have a 1 mana way to protect that. Hopefully not. Could get really greedy with this flow state, but I don't think I should. Ooh. Speaking of getting really greedy, I could get a divergent equation instead of a Berta. We'll get a Berta. We can plop it out with the mind into matter. Alright, nice. Get the kill. Is this whenever you cast a creature spell? Okay. Kind of awkward the way things are lining up here. If Archaic sticks around, if I try to cheat Berta out with Mind into Matter, it's not casting Berta, so Berta doesn't get the counters. I'm also not drawing a bajillion cards that turn. I mean, I could just spend 5 and Mind into Matter out the Sky Coach. That's also perfectly fine. Hold off on Berta for a turn. Or we can try to save the Mind into Matter, draw as many cards as possible, and just play Berta first alone for now. It's a lot of options. They've got 1 and a blue up for potential Essence Scatter, so... I mean, they could have the uncommon counterspell, the Quandrix Charm. That's less likely, obviously, but still a chance. If I go to combat, see if they do anything with their mana. They don't do anything with their mana. I mean, they are statistically like at least twice as likely to have Essence Scatter than something that can counter a non-creature spell. But they could have the Quandrix Charm or the 4 mana uncommon here. Disdainful Stroke, or something off of the millions of cards on the Mystical Archives that are a little bit harder to play around, because there's a ton. Disdainful Stroke would have demolished us either way, so. Unless we just played Sky Coach for the turn. Got nothing much done. Yeah, Pensive Professor is kind of running away with it here. That's the second draw for the Professor now. Unsubtle Mockery, kill our Archaic, draw another card off of Pensive Professor. I'll do one thing this turn, so here's a Berta and pray they're out of stuff, but that seems unlikely after all this card draw. It's a pretty free bluff attack for our opponent, because if they play any instant, they get a free kill on Berta. Any 4-mana instant, they get a free kill on Berta, but also, like, if I block and they don't have a 4-mana instant, it's not like I kill Pensive Professor anyway, so free bluff. There's a splatter technique for another draw 4. Our opponent has drawn a bajillion cards. Not sure there's any draws in the deck that can get out of a position where our opponent has drawn this many more cards than us. And then at least Berta's doing some work here. Bounce creature to bounce our token. Or bounce the Berta if they have a scatter in hand. Tragic. You never want to see that, because that just means they have the counter in hand. For the Berta. Now they can removal spell to kill 2 creatures if they want. If we don't block here, we're kind of just rolling over. Oh, they have an actual combat trick in there? That I was not expecting, but that works too. Same way as a removal spell would. They seem pretty controlling and mid-rangey, not really where I'd expect a combat trick, but that can happen too. Got Divergent Equation. Theoretically, we pick up Mind into Matter if we last long enough, but we have no creatures on this board, so we are just not going to. If I tap out for the equation, right, I'm taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, going to 5. But if I cast Berta, I can't even cast Equation. I mean, I can, where x equals 1. I don't have the mana to do x equals 2 after Berta. Alright, well, I'm feeling quite dead however I play it. Let's do the x equals 1. That will trigger Berta for the increments. And then we'll have a 2-power creature to create the Sky Coach. And then we just play a massive draw spell if we're alive next turn, but we just die from 2 swings. Rainstorm from their Harmonized Trio. Cuboid Colony incrementing up their tester of the tangential. Oh my god, they drew 13 more cards than us. If we count libraries. I guess they did ramp a little bit with like a Studious First Year at some point, probably. That also pulled a card out. No, I don't see any Studious First Year engraved, and they haven't used this one yet. No, they've straight up drawn 13 more cards. Good lord. Just their casual 5th card off the Pensive Professor. Alright, that's quite dead. Next turn, however, we play it. That'll be 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game number 3. I'm going to keep this on the draw, hoping to draw into a blue source. But even if we just draw a land, period, by the 3rd draw, which should be statistically likely on the draw, we get to go Archaic into Bane. So far, so bad. Our first 2 draws are 2 more blue spells and no lands. But there we go, right on time. There's the island. And so here is a 6/4 Shopkeeper's Bane. Oh, I completely misread Wildgrowth Archaic earlier. This is the first time we've ever gotten counters out of it anyway. It doesn't care how many counters on it. It's just the other creatures are getting counters equal to the number of colors you spend on them. So it doesn't matter. Even if Archaic's a 1/1, it's great. It's still giving those huge buffs. Alright, we got no way to deal with this Arc of Hunger, and this is one of the strongest rares in the set. Huge card draw engine. We also have no threats to play. We just have removal, and there's nothing to remove. So we flow states. Pray for lands. Rare, and a land. That is so sad. I gotta just take mana there, but you do what you gotta do. Mill their land for turn, so that's a full card draw, and they drain us for 1 when they play that land. Unless they really need to play a 5 mana card, which is possible. They really need to play a 5 mana card, so they play an untapped land that's no draw off of the Arc of Hunger this turn. And Slumbering Trudge. That is so beautiful for us. Because it's still small enough to die to the barrage. Okay, we could play Emil or Berta. Probably Berta's the scarier one, even if she's slightly smaller initially. There's the concession from our opponent. They are tired of us casting rares, which is fair enough. We are 2-1 heading into game number 4. Here we are on the play for game number 4, completely on the defensive. We're just going to try to counter whatever creatures they play early. And then draw a bunch of cards later, looking to draw into one of our big bomb rares to be our finisher. They've got nothing. Well, I've still got all my lands. I do not need to run out of Sky Coach. We can wait till we've got 5 mana. Just be a game of patience here. Is this a game of that much patience that I'm going to get greedy on flow state? I think it is. Like, they play something, we scatter it, we play Orisa. Should have a sorcery by then, maybe. Zombify, can't counter that with an Essence Scatter. Super rude. Then some lands out of this deck. We do not need any more. Down to 18. Sure, scatter a Tenured Concoctor, that'll kill it without drawing them a card. There's a Noxious Newt. Alright, Orisa, what do we got? Land Barrage. It's an instant, not a sorcery. Alright, well, we can play Newt and Barrage and kill this Pest Mascot however big it is next turn. I don't really think crewing and attempting to block with Sky Coach is going to be a good idea when all they have to do is gain 1 life to make that useless. We are pretty happy to see a Barrage get thrown at Orisa. More lands. Alright, well, we have to cast Flow State. Just running out a Barrage into tons of extra cards against the Witherbloom opponent that has tons of mana is just not safe. I just want to say we're on Quandrix Charm here. Try to counter removal when we go for Newt Barrage. I don't know, this is not good. I could just run out the Archaic and then run out a Newt. See what happens. Alright, sure. That is another way to probably pull the removal out here, because now they just throw the removal at the Archaic. Okay, removal spell on the Newt is not what I was expecting, but that works too. They could just have double removal, yeah, and then it's just irrelevant. Alright. Things would have gone very bad if we tried to Barrage. Certainly flooding a bit here. Maybe a similar fate for our opponent, but they're a creature ahead, so we're the one under pressure. Oh no, that's not what you want to see when you're flooding. Another vehicle. I need something to crew these with. I only have 3 lands left in this deck? Oh, I've got all my non-basics. Okay, I've only got 3 basics left. Crazy. Kind of wild they have not gained a single life for this pest mascot. He's gonna hit me for all 20 damage at this rate, though. Leech Collector, that is very threatening if they ever gain life with it. Well, that's a card. We found a creature, Wild Growth Archaic, which means we can start using our vehicles and our Quandrix Charm to defend ourselves. Our Barrage Barrage. A little hesitant to run out Barrage Barrage as the first thing, though, because they could have been sitting on removal for a long time. It's been a very long time since we've played a creature. Draw 2, lose 2 life, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Even if I kill that creature, they still draw the cards. Just allow that. What are you doing with all those cards, friend? Go to combat? Crew up a Sky Coach. I think we block a Leech Collector here, because even if they gain life, it doesn't combat trick itself. Deal 4 damage to a creature with flying. Here it's a 5/5. Wait, they could have just said destroy target artifact. Exile target creature on the Archaic. Okay, now they are tapped out. I can also go ahead and kill the pest mascot. Alright, the boards are completely empty. It's kind of fully a top deck war now, depending on this last card in their hand. Our first draw is Paradox Gardens, which is probably the best land we could draw, but it is still our 12th land, so it's not particularly good. Their first draw is Zamone's Experiment, a draw 5. Well, look at the top 5 draw of the lands and creatures. Lucky hits for us. Out of those 5 cards, they found 1 creature, 1 land. Oh, wait, no, they only get to choose 2. But they only found 1 creature in the top 5 then, because they could have chosen 2 creatures instead of a creature and a land. So that's lucky. I think there's only 1 card in our deck here that we could draw that I would be bummed out that I surveilled pre-draw step, which is our X mana draw spell. Okay, Applied Geometry is a good draw. They only have 1 other card in their hand. It would have to be another artifact removal spell to punish me for choosing Sky Coach instead of a land here, so I'm just going to choose Sky Coach. Feels quite unlikely. Then they can blow that up in response, so I can just thin another land out of the deck. Be very, very heavy on spells. Okay. Witherbloom Charm is their other card. Sack a permanent, draw 2. They're green-black. They're not going to haste us out. Let's get 3 damage in. Titan's Grave, Old Growth Educator, just as a 4/4. It has reach, though, so it stops our 3/2. And the Apprentice just as a 2/2. Ah, I forgot to put the stop on my upkeep again. I dislike Arena strongly sometimes. I just kind of assumed it was going to be holding that stop for me. God, yeah, the land draw is really bad here because I don't think we can afford to attack. We're at 6. We're taking 6 if we do. Yeah, we really needed a spell here. Missing that Surveil is brutal. There's their own Sky Coach. It's a very good draw. Berta doesn't immediately do anything, but Berta's going to be huge in the long run. They have 9 damage. If I attack with this, and then they removal spell Berta, and then like draw a creature and play it, they hit us for 9 and we're dead. So I think, again, we can't afford to attack here. They surveilled at the top. Very bad sign. Bletch. Loafing Pest. Excellent card if they gain any life. Mind and it matters. Big stuff. That is big stuff. I only have 12 cards left, though. So that's a moderate concern. 1, 2... What permanents do I have left in my deck? Shopkeeper's Bane? 3 mana is the most expensive permanents I have left. Let's leave some mana for Berta. 5/5 is perfect. 5/5 beats these 4/4s and 3/4s. So let's go green, blue, and 7. 5 cards left in my deck. Can I kill them with 5 cards left? Can I kill them fast enough? I think so. Let's go big. Oh, I overtapped like a fool. Like a buffoon. These other two could come back bigger than they currently are, so we'll just bounce that one. Let's be annoying and make a copy of the Matterbender. I could run behind as well, leaving them with 1 blocker. think I'm happy to just jam with everybody and play a Trudge. So they have to chump at least one card to not die. They either chump the 6/6 or they trade with the 3/2 and chump something else. This works out for me. Let's actually just hold up a run behind since we already have well over lethal damage on board for next turn. Make sure to put a stop in our upkeep again. They surveilled away a Burog Barrage. Drop a Bletch. Drop a Bogwater Lumerette to get the Bletch triggers. Drop a big old growth thingy-mabob. Let's bounce the life gainer, and then I think they're dead. Because 2 things hit them, and they're at 4. Yeah, I mean, they go block, block, take 6. Yeah, and there's the concession from our opponent. That is 2-1, I believe, with this pretty absurd Quandrix deck. Heading into round number 4. Alright, here we are. Actually, for game number 5, we're 3-1. I was wrong before. This could be so good if it hits a forest, but if it does not, it does not do anything, and that is a risk I don't think we should take on that one. This is a great hand, no matter what it draws. If we keep Sky Coach into Geometry, so let's do that. Uh-oh. Against a Silver Quill deck. But it's going to be some fast, aggressive stuff here, putting a lot of pressure on us as early as possible. Okay, that's lucky. No 2-mana creature from them. They just untap the Interceptor there. I got the 4th land to just play Geometry on a land if they kill Archaic here. I don't have any creatures to put counters on with the Archaic though anyway, but it would just block the Interceptor next turn. It's 1 damage. We can play the Sky Coach for now. We can play the Sky Coach for now. Quillblade Laureates. Give somebody double strike till end of turn. Thinning some lands out of here. Double strike up the Interceptor. We either chump block it or trade a 6/6 into it. Okay, I'll trade a 6/6 into it when it's at 4/4 stats at that point. That or take 9. Yeah, I mean, it's not wonderful, but I think it's worth it. Oh, and I didn't mean take 9, I meant like go to 9. No, and then we draw the bounce spell right after that. Awkward. If we knew the bounce spell was coming, obviously, we would have just bounced all of the counters off of it. Although it still wouldn't have been perfect for us. because they could draw another card if we did that. Yep. Obviously throw removal at the wild growth thingy. That's it for now. If this were one of those cards that triggers whenever it becomes tapped, that'd be pretty awesome for us. Gain 2 every time we crew a vehicle with the Shopkeeper's Bane. Eternal Student. That is a great card to bounce. We top deck a land, but we hit hard this turn and gain some life back. Just have their life total. Put them to 7. Eternal Student is back. Another Sky Coach is the draw. Trade and put them quite low here. I think it's worth it. So we trample over, put them to 2. They do get the 2/1/1s. Uh-oh. Abigail. Oh, Lord have mercy. Abigail and Inkwright. So Abigail, every time they cast a creature, they get this ability to put +1/+1 counter on a creature, and every time they do that ability, they also get a 1/1 flyer. That's pretty gnarly. Well, what else is pretty gnarly is this absolutely massive flyer. Oh, it's an X spell. It makes the mage unblockable? I forgot about that ability. Wow. I forgot we just top-decked completely unblockable mage. I thought that game was going to grind on a couple turns and they'd have a chance to come back with that Inkwright. So I was like, okay, we cast this pre-combat to crew both of these in attack, but nope, not if this thing gets unblockable. That flavor text there coming in really hot that game. That was a scary card to maybe stabilize against the Flyers with, but luckily it was just one turn too late since we got that attack down to 2 into the unblockable swing, and we are now 4-1, a positive record no matter what out of this draft as we head into Game 6. All right, here we are on the play for Game number 6. We are doing great here. Just run out a Slumbering Trudge, let it slowly wake up. Start beating down as a 6/6. I don't mind it. A perfectly chill position to just hold up Scatter. No, Witherbloom Charm my Trudge. Scatter that thing. Run out a Tester the Tangential before we start casting all these higher mana value cards. Yikes. 4/4 Death Touch with some abilities too. Reanimate something from the graveyard. Could play Coach and Newt, but I only get 1 Tester increment off of that because of the order I have to play those cards in. So better just Matter Bending Mage here. This thing is really scary. Just delay it for a turn, I think that's fine. Okay, Scavenger's back. We find Quandrix Charm a turn late. No. Play the Sky Coach and have the Quandrix Charm up. Feels good. Really want to try to combat trick kill here against open mana. Yeah, because something like that can happen. Yeah, if I tried to combat trick after they block and then they responded with barrage, that would have been the end of the world. And I honestly kind of think this resolves, does it not? Oh, now we can keep them off of us. Yep, let's see what they hit. Emil, I guess. Concoctor would be okay too. Concoctor is the choice. Do need to move one more counter over. Now I just have a 4-2 against the 4-4. So what about a 4-2 against the 4-4? And a 5-5 against the 4-5. And that's how we're blocking here. Or we're attacking. Now they've got 8 power over there. This is 8 damage to them. This is going to be a close race. Let's go for it. I mean, with the Terrafractal coming up for unblockability and life gain, and then when the Bane attacks, that gains life too. Let's live dangerously. Let's just see what happens when we just send into each other here. Creature Planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures and Planeswalkers they control. So one of our 3 mana cards gets exiled. Probably do Sky Coach then. Oh, I forgot that thing has Vigilance. Since it has Vigilance, maybe I should have just hit Bane anyway. There's Mind into Matter, which also triggers the Matter Bending Mage. So I have a 2-turn kill if they don't kill this mage. Just locked in. If I don't kill the mage and I don't die on the crackback. Because I hit for 5 now, and then next turn I play an X spell and also move a counter over and they're dead. So let's play the life gain card first. I think that's more likely to not die on the crackback. Let's go for the increment move here as well. I don't need this to be massive. It's just like if they don't kill mage, they're dead. Let's see what they can do here. Not removal, but it does draw them a card, give them one more chance. Alright, they're playing off the top. Is that top card of their library instant speed removal, or does Mind over Matter get the kill? Let's do it for one so I can play a Newt if they don't die here. There's the concession from our opponent. Close race there, living by the skin of our teeth, but we get there in the end, and that is 5-1 guaranteed in the money out of this draft. I'm going to keep this on the play, but it's quite a slow hand. It doesn't do anything till turn 3, but after that it gets an applied geometry. Which is just huge stats to have out on turn 4. Playing against Silverquill, they haven't played anything yet. Sure. Blow up Emil is fine. Well. He's a 6/6. That's disappointing. But we've got the draw 2 creature now to make up for the 1-for-1s our opponent has done to us. Oh, and then we got the gigantic draw spell, the Mind into Matter. This is the weirdest Silver Quill deck I have seen. They are not aggressive at all. Yep, this is just the 23 removal spell, 17 lands deck. Mind into Matter, very, very good against that kind of strategy. I would love to apply Geometry to Sarisa, but they'll just destroy here in response, so I think this is a much better turn to cast Mind into Matter. They can't really counter it in those colors. For 5. A newt or a land? Alright. Newt it is. The divergent equation to pick up 2 copies of Applied Geometry is going to be so lethal. There's the Swords to Plowshares mythic. They get a 3/3 and a 1/1 and a Swords to Plowshares. Oh, if I had more creatures after they made the 1/1, so they don't get the Swords to Plowshares. Because of how they played it. Okay. Really don't think I should apply Geometry one of my creatures, because they can removal spell in response. I guess I can go for Barrage and see if they removal spell in response to this. And then they're probably tapped out of doing it in response to Applied Geometry. I guess Legend Rule, I'll be left with just 1/6/6, but I will draw the 2 extra cards. Could be worth it. Oh my god, it resolves. Just kill that token. Still have a scatter up. Primary research, very good. Reanimate something and they get some buffs. They get some draws is what it does. There's an Ennis to flicker it and get another. Okay, I'll counter Ennis. So they don't get another flyer. I'm just gonna apply Geometry out a Trampler now. I think I am. Or I could just make a gigantic flyer. Okay, that Camel can keep returning from the graveyard. And every time it does, it'll draw a card off primary research. It's not great. Dang, kill both of them. Okay, but they're out of cards now. They're tapped out here. How many instant sorceries do I got in grave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can do a blue and then 1, 2 plus 8, 10. I can do 5. Divergent equation for 5 in their end step. Pick up pretty much my whole graveyard. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Card some nasty stuff when most of your rares are instants and sorceries. The frog squad is here. These aren't even frogs, they're newts, but still. Alright, opponent is over it. That was a massive, massive piece of graveyard recursion there, picking up multiple copies of Applied Geometry, and that is going to get us our 6th win at 6-1 now, all the way to the final battle with 2 shots to get max prize out today. See if we can't wrap this deck up with another trophy run here in Secrets of Strixhaven. We are going to be on the draw this game. Let's see what happens. Playing against a black deck. Pest Mascot's the first play. We'll Essence Scatter that and then run out our Emil. There's Bletch, the bigger Pest Mascot. Flow State plus Newt. Find Applied Geometry. There's the Barrage, kill our Newt. Poke for 3. End of the hunt to kill Emil as well. Let's play a flyer before we play Applied Geometry. Block there goes terribly. If they have any instant speed, life gain. Scathing Shadelock going to be buffing in a Death Touch attack each turn now. Take the 6, go to 12. There's a 4/4 reach is really huge here. Top deck a land. Right, probably going to start doing upkeep scries. The plan was to outrace them, but the reach means we don't win the race now. We like trade the 4/3 into the reach creature, deal 6, they're at 10, they crack back for 9, and then we crack back for 6 while they're at 10. It's just not going to get there. Just have to trade Terrafractal off on blocks now. Probably. I mean, I probably should have still sent it here. Just traded on attacks. Oh wait, no, if I did that, they crack back for 13 and I die. We are dead to removal here. But we're functionally dead to removal if I don't send the 6/6 in. Okay, that is a very bad sign. Thornfist Striker, yep. Come on, give me a goodie. Tester the Tangential is not a goodie. What are my outs here? At 3 life? I just need 2 blockers, so we need to hit the bounce card. Bounce card is cheap enough to play after Surveil. Is there anything for more than 3 that saves us? Run Behind is exactly 3 mana and that would save us. Applied Geometry for 4 gives me another 6/6 and gains 2. I'm at 5 with 2 6/6 blockers. That would work. I could block there and take 3, go to 2. Orisa could save us. There's a couple cards that could save us that would cost more than 3. There's only 1 card that costs 3 that will save us. I'm just going to draw. It's Berta. I don't think Berta saves us because Berta doesn't gain any life. Dang. All right, we're going to have to get into the next final battle, and 6 and 2 it is, heading into the final boss. All right, here we are on the draw for the final game of Magic. On the draw against a white deck, we do have turn 1 Slumbering Trudge to untap later, and then we get to hold up the Scatter and still have that ready to go later. Silver Quill. Luckily, that's just a card draw spell, so it's not going to do anything for now. And Burrog Barrage is actually a sweet draw when you've got a Slumbering Trudge sitting there, because we can remove anything with that. I don't hate countering Elite Interceptor. It's also probably not quite worth it. Rather hold up my instance than run out this Archaic, so we'll play the tap land. Johnny's Response. Hold up Scatter or kill Interceptor. They just have 3 cards in hand. I'm not going to kill Interceptor. Cool. Most important thing about Archaic is its abilities, not its size. So I'll just cast it for 2 to have my instance up. You're just going to start using their Diary of Dreams. Graduation Day, can put counters on their board when they're targeting their stuff. Or when they're targeting anything, really. Yep, I get the buff then. Get the draw. Apparently Elite Interceptor is like the only creature they've drawn for a long time, so I guess I should have just barraged it. They would not have gotten the Graduation Day value here or the extra draw. I really wanted to land. Dang it. I'm going to have to get no Archaic value for a turn so that I can double spell here and get my land. Being able to like run out the Bane and still have Barrage up would have been real sweet. Get a 2/2. Poke me for 2. Okay. Berta gives me a mana back from Archaic's ability when she resolves. So I can play Berta and a 2-drop, but not play Berta in an instant. I'd have to play whatever I play with the Berta right afterwards, so let's just go Bane. Wander off. That graduation day is doing some gnarly things. This was not the kind of Silver Quill deck I wanted to see at all. I wanted them to just be rolling creatures out early there on like grindy card draw value stuff. This is the not good Silver Quill matchup. Well, 1/4 to block the 3/3. Oh my god. Now Dire of Dreams is just 0 mana, draw a card. I don't think this could really be going any worse, honestly. With the way that we've played our cards, I don't think it could have lined up any worse. They finally drew a creature. They could have been sandbagging a creature for a while, but they've been doing it so long that I feel like that's like the first non-poet creature they've finally drawn. Green, blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 power, but then graduation day is just gonna pop off. I don't have a bounce spell for this 5/5, so even recurring stuff, I don't get a way to deal with it with Divergent Equation. I can just make a 7/7 off Berta. I guess that's the plan. That's for sure the plan. It's instant speed. This is a horrible spot. They're drawing an extra card every turn for free now. Super Busted Rare has arrived. Every time they target anything, they get a 1/1 flyer. Every time they target anything, that card's completely unblockable. Okay. It's a legit draw. Make them redraw one of these cards. Make them redraw the Poet, probably. Although the Snooping Page, potentially getting unblockable. Likely need them to redraw that card. I probably have to wait till they declare attacks. So I'm still threatening like Max Berta stuff. Lord have mercy, that is really, really, really bad for me. Because it triggers all the other stuff. I could do equation for 1. To still have the mana up for run behind, because then Berta gives me 1 mana here. That's got to be equation for 2. Just not have run behind. Right. Just a Berta for 1. Boy, oh boy. Oh boy. They had a way to blow something up, they would have done it. The Melancholic Poets, when I'm at 4, are really bad together. The Snooping Page, also for the unblockability, super bad, but I can run behind the page when it's declaring an attack. That is going to be disgusting. It's going to trigger all of their stuff twice, even if I run behind right now. Yeah, that's a super, super good one. Oh. Oh no. Man, all their creatures just clumped in the middle to make our Essence Scatter absolutely awful. And you know what I just realized? I don't actually even think we wanted the cost reduction on this. Because then we get another counter on Berta if I didn't cost reduce this. Well, they put it on bottom. That is surprising. Yep, go to 1. Two flying blockers and some amount of life. If I play a 4-3, I can play a meal in the same turn and give my board trample. Which only matters if they stop drawing ways to target stuff, but it could matter. I guess I could just run out a meal with a mind over matter turn. I should just tap out right now. Still monumentally dead whenever they draw something that targets one of their permanents. Matterbending Mage is our best card to draw. I think I'm supposed to tap out and just pray that's what we hit, because we dig as far as possible for it. There it is. Four attackers on the ground. Trampled everything with counters next turn. Thinking maybe I should attack with Berta 2 here. I'm already dead to removal because of all of the repartee triggers, right? Kill a fractal, put me to 2 life, get a +1/+1 counter on the other flyer. Yeah, I'm already dead to removal. So sure. Just dead to any removal or any targeted spell at all. That's not either of those, but it's not good. Now they're gearing up for a go wide lethal. Applied geometry, gain a couple more life. It's a big old deal. Big old deal. Emil to give everybody trample. They're at 12. Pre-combat applied geometry isn't going to change anything. Don't think I can afford to attack with the flyer still. I mean, this is 12. How much toughness do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 toughness. 14 toughness. They're at 12 life. If I have 26 power, they're dead. 26 minus 14 is 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 plus 6. 22. 23, 24, 25. 20. I'm 1 off. Oh, pre-combat applied geometry does matter, because then I could... Oh, wait, no, I can crew with Summoning Sick right here. 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, plus 6. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 27 minus 14 is still 13. They're at 12. Oh, no, but they can block with a 1/1. Okay, no, they can block Sky Coach with a 1/1 and still survive barely. And then kill us. They lose a bunch of their board here, though. I don't know if they kill us in the crackback. But I'm like, wait, they can put one of their toughness in front of the 3/2 to stop 3 damage there, and one of their toughness in front of the 2/2 to stop 2 damage there. So actually the max we can do is like 10? Or they can block in a way where we do 10? Ah, I think I just punted it. That's 11 in the sky. Or that's 11 unblocked, and the trample damage just finishes them off if they block that way. I think there is some way for them to live, but I don't think they get to keep many creatures at all, if any. I can't do anything here, so we'll just see what this is. Lethal. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they... Maybe if they blocked our 3/2 flyer with their 1/1 flyer, they would have been stopping 3 damage with the 1/1. And they blocked the trample flyer, or blocked something else with the 2/2. I don't know. I think they could have lived with 1 life, but maybe they would have had no creatures anyway. Then we applied Geometry Terra Fractal. We were probably fine. That was terrifying, though. That was terrifying. I don't know if I punted that. I don't know. I mean, they died, so I guess not. But I think there might have been something somewhere. It just would have taken way too long for them to find, I guess. But maybe not. By the skin of our teeth, we find another trophy run in Strixhaven. That is a 7-2 run with a busted Quandrix deck. We got so many rares in the very first pack. It was like, okay, well, I mean, just get double applied geometry. I guess that's the direction we're going. Get past Wild Growth Archaics everywhere. Took some of the rare duels as well to help that mana base. Got a Mind into Matter as well. This was a really, really sick deck. Oh yeah, we got the Slumbering Trudge. I think it was like Slumbering Trudge applied geometries in the same pack, like pack 1. It was like, well, I know where we're going. And we certainly went there. We went to a busted Quandrix strategy. Honestly, those games were pretty complex. There were a lot of decision points. Maybe if I played perfectly, we could have had an even better record, but I will take the trophy run that we received today at 7-2. Maximum prize out of this event. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.